Welcome to another episode of Barbie Saturdays, and it's time to continue Barbie Buff with Barbie in a Mermaid Tale, which is both better and worse than Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia. On the plus side, we have a much better villain with Eris. Unlike Max, who's just a bumbling comic relief villain that was meant to be the head minion in charge of more bumbling minions, we have an actual villain, Eris, who can summon magical whirlpools to send people to her dungeons.
You dare to ignore me?
No, I would never. No, please, darling, I beg of you.
Yeah, I imagine you could argue it'd be a lot edgier if she killed people, but, you can't be like One Piece, with have Arlong just straight up shoot someone, in front of their daughters, because she doesn't have enough money to pay for her own life, and traumatize them forevermore afterwards. We don't have that much room for edge, because this is aimed at, a much younger audience, so it's banished to the dungeons, for forever, in this case. Plus, some of the people she keeps in her dungeons, like her sister Calissa, she kind of needs alive anyway, because Calissa can spin Marilia, the life force of the ocean, which is a gift bestowed apparently only on the royal family, but Eris herself can't do it because, to get this ability, you have to go through a special ritual that's only available every 20 years, which is brought up in the second movie, which is kind of annoying because it makes the second movie feel like it's trying to create a plot hole when it explains, how you gain the ability. Because because in the first movie it's like, oh, it's a skill of the royal family, and Eris is the only one in the royal family that can't do it. Which might explain why she was so jealous of her younger sister getting her spot, because she's like, it's just because I can't spin Marilia, and she's taking my place. It's not fair, because I'm older, I should be the crown princess, but that's apparently not the case. She was chosen because her younger sister was apparently had traits that make her appear to be a better ruler in her parents' eyes. So Eris got bypassed because of that. Not because she couldn't have been granted the ability to spin Marilia, but because her parents didn't want her to have it. Because they're like, you're not going to be the queen. You just don't have the personality we're looking for in a queen. So yeah. As for why Eris, took over when she did, considering it was going to be over 15 plus years out till the next ritual be available to give herself the ability to spin Marilia, I don't know. Maybe at the time it was just, this is the best time to do it while my sister, is still weak in her position, so I can try and use my authority as the older sibling to usurp her at this point in time. Because giving her 15 years to establish her reign would make it much harder to get rid of her, maybe. I don't know the exact situation, so I can't judge if when Eris took over was, the best of a terrible idea or not. Because with her sister sealed away in prison, the Marilia she was making was much weaker because of emotional distress, so it was slowly killing the kingdom anyway. So who really wants to be in charge of a dying kingdom where everyone's going to be obviously talking behind your back about how much your skills with Marilia suck and how you're killing the ocean? Even if you can make them, adore you to your face for fear of being sent to the dungeons, in a whirlpool, you gotta know behind your back, they're all talking shit about you. At least if you're reasonably smart. But I guess Eris may not be the smartest of villains, so maybe she doesn't think about it. Just flies over her head or is off her radar, as long as they adore her, when she's personally there in their face. As for why this movie feels a bit weaker than Fairytopia, well, in Fairytopia, it wasn't implied that it was destiny that was going to let the heroes win. Would Lena and Nori come out on top? Well, that was going to be up to their skills and determination. In this movie, it's implied that Marilia is destined to overthrow her aunt and restore her mother to power and come to accept her place, in the universe as the crown princess of Oceania, which makes everything that happens, feel like it's not part of some character journey so much as, it's a destined series of events, which makes character motivation seem less poignant because, it's destiny.
Now you can return to Oceania and defeat Eris, just as the destinies foretold.
yeah, I could have done without that. If we had characters that could see into the future, and you're like, well, we can see possible futures, and these are the most likely futures based on the timeline we're on right now. That would be better. But apparently, these oracles are 100% always correct. So Berlia was always going to save the kingdom when she did and how she did it. Because everything is fated to happen. I just don't like that. It makes the story feel weaker, in my opinion, than the previous movie. Because at least there, the heroes getting together mattered. In this one, it doesn't really feel like that. So yeah, in that one small respect, it feels like the weaker story. But I'd say it's a better watch overall than Barbie Fairytopia Mermaid, just because we have a much better villain at the heart of this one. Until next time, then. See ya.
So, you're saying Leah isn't just a mermaid, she's mermaid royalty. Tell me you're not starting to believe this.
We're talking to a pink sparkly dolphin.